Let's talk about coordinate plane vocab. So first we want to look at the x-axis, that's that red line, and then that y-axis is the blue line. So we're going to look at the different quadrants that are in a coordinate plane. So there's 4 of them, and they're labeled using Roman numerals. So if you haven't seen these Roman numerals before, make sure that you familiarize yourself with them. So quadrant 1 is this first quadrant there. There isn't really a logical order for these. They go counterclockwise. So quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So what you need to know about each of these quadrants is that quadrant 1, both your x and your y are going to be positive. Quadrant 2, your x will be negative, but your y will still be positive. Quadrant 3, you have 2 negatives, so x and y are both negative. And then quadrant 4, your x is positive, but your y is negative. Now let's look at the basics of graphing coordinates. So we know that it's going to be x comma y, so that tells us that x tells us how many units we need to move left or right. And sometimes you'll hear that called the run. And that y, that tells us how many units we need to move up or down. That's called the rise. And sometimes you'll hear you have to run before you can rise. So that just means you graph your x point, or you go over or left or right first, and then you graph your y point. So you go up or down second. So let's look at graphing a couple points. So 4 comma 5. That's going to be in quadrant 1 because both of those points are positive. We want to start at the origin. That's our 0, 0. So we're going to put our point there. We're going to move right 4 points, or 4 spaces. And then we're going to move up 5. And so now that we've done those 2 motions, we're at the point where it is 4 comma 5. So that final point that we just did is 4 comma 5. All right, let's look at another one. This one's in quadrant 2, and we know that because the x is negative and the y is positive. So we first want to start by going left 3 points after we've started at the origin. So we're going left 3 points, and then we will go up 6 points. So we know that we're going up 6 because that y is positive. So that last point that we just plotted there, that's negative 3 comma 6. So every time we're graphing a point, we know that it's going to be 2 different motions. We're going left or right, and we're going up or down. All right, let's look at quadrant 3 graphing. So we have the point negative 7, negative 6. We want to put that in quadrant 3. We know that we'll start at the origin. So that's our 0, 0 again. We want to go to the left 7 points, or 7 spaces. And then we want to go down 6. So that negative tells us that we're going down instead of up. And that final point that we just plotted there is negative 7, negative 6. All right, last one. We want to graph a point that's in quadrant 4. So 5 comma negative 5. That's in quadrant 4 because our x is positive and our y is negative. So we want to start at the origin again. We want to go to the right 5 spaces, and then we want to go down 5 spaces. And that will leave us right there, and that'll give us the point 5, negative 5.